I said, listen, I do it grande, all day, choking on that Bombay. And I got my cup filled, you see how them bucks peel, young pimp. See, I grab me up a chicken just
in the
chill.
back of the club with a stack full of dubs, drop it low like a pro, bring it back. That's what's up. All my dogs up in here, and it's dope everywhere. Gone and stunt like you don't care. Throw that money.
Welcome back to another episode of Podward State. I'm Grace Cunningham.
I'm Sam Brungo.
Today on the show we have Will Zomback, who is best known for managing Wiz Khalifa. He is the co-CEO of Taylor Gang Management.
Yeah, Taylor Gang or Die. We actually haven't done it yet. We just got in the studio. It is 7-Eleven, always open.
Aww.
And yeah, there was a girl in here. She was taking her sweet time. She told us she'd be done 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Hour later, now we're in here. So
maybe she's a fan.
Maybe she is a fan. If you're in
she
here,
just like wanted
shout
to
out.
be in here.
Yeah, she just wanted to like.
We should get her a sticker. I have pod stickers today.
We have
actually.
pod stickers to the new people.
Yippee.
Anyways, I'm sure it's going to be a cool conversation. Yeah. Leading that with you will be Charlie Pegler and Shannon Smith. So,
yep.
We'll introduce them later. But yeah, we're going to jump into some headlines here, get things going. Joining us for headlines, we're going to have Hailey Stutzman and Jordan Mansberger. And reading the headlines is going to be Will Pegler making his long-awaited headline debut. This is going to be so fun.
Everyone's been asking. They've been
Everyone's
dying
been
for
asking.
Will to read
Actually,
headlines.
all our fans have been like, we're so sick of hearing Will talk about sports. We want to hear him talk about COVID and
death.
Anyways, headlines.
Now let's get into some headlines. I'm Jordan Mansberger. Alongside me, Hailey Stutz. Hailey, how we doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
That's good.
Joining us here, making his headlines debut, William Hutchinson Pegler. How you doing?
I'm doing really well.
The third?
Sorry?
The third or the second?
I'm the third.
Okay, the third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to do some headlines. This is like the one part of pod I haven't done, so I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, seriously. But I'm excited about this one. Topgolf is coming to Beaver Stadium, so there's this thing called the Topgolf Live Stadium Tour. It's coming to Beaver Stadium from June 2nd to 5th. Penn State announced the news this past Tuesday. It's part of the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau thing. Shout out to Joe Batista and Scott Sidwell with that one. Scott Sidwell, another possible athletic director candidate. But yeah, so you can start to reserve spots for that on Thursday, April 7th, and a pre-sale for select groups is going to be on Tuesday, April 5th. So it's only like 4 days that it's happening. It's pretty cool. I mean, launch some golf balls on Beaver Stadium. That's pretty fun.
I think it's cool, but like the students won't be here.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Have you guys ever like been to Topgolf?
I haven't.
I haven't.
I've never been. It looks fun though.
So like, are we hitting like on the field or like up in the seats?
I think you're going to be up like above. You're going to be in kind of like where above the south end zone, there's like that nice little bar area.
Yeah.
It's going to be up there, and they said there's going to be food and drinks there. I don't know what drinks means.
I'm
like booze or
like sweets.
Sorry. Oh, I think it's booze. They didn't say that like officially, but I think that's a big part of it. But yeah, I've never been to Topgolf. I don't think I'm going to be here when it comes, but that's cool. So shout out to all the State College people and students living here this summer that'll get to do that. That's fun.
That's cool.
So obviously Topgolf, very exciting. Unfortunately, we have some not great news surrounding Penn State's College of Liberal Arts. Former Dean Susan Welch passed away this week at 78. She led the College of Liberal Arts from 1991 through 2019, so quite a tenure. I actually had heard a lot about her. I'm not in the College of Liberal Arts, but a very long tenure, 18 years as the dean there. Or no, geez, horrible math. I'm like more like closer to like 30 years. My apologies. I didn't mean any disrespect with that. I am bad at math, but for a very long time, Eric Barron called her a role model, a pioneer, a visionary, an incredible leader to the College of Liberal Arts. So rest in peace to Susan Welch.
Rest in peace. Our thoughts are with her.
Yeah, her and her family. So from there, we actually have some pretty interesting news. The Downtown Improvement District is searching for fiber artists to help with a yarn mural, which is sick. So basically, the Downtown State College Improvement District, they're looking for artists who have knitting abilities with yarn, and they're going to do a mural on Calder Way, and it's going to be a mural of balloons that'll be right on the Pew Street parking garage, right by Calder Way. So I think that's right where that like weird little like head shop thing is.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but you guys know what I'm talking about. On Calder Way, there's a little store under the Pew Street parking garage. There's a guy sitting out there a lot of time. House of Cashmere, yeah. But so I guess it'll be right there. I like murals. Mural made of
I just
yarn,
have,
like that's
Wait,
crazy.
What?
What happens like when it gets wet?
What?
Like what happens when it gets wet?
Maybe they like put some like plastic over it.
I feel like that's a fair question.
Going from yarn, some more exciting news, Chick-fil-A. Who doesn't like Chick-fil-A? So we reported on this earlier in the year, but they have you guys ever been to the Chick-fil-A on North Atherton? The
No.
parking lot's a joke. You get yelled at for how you enter, and it gets backed up when you're trying to make a left or a right for that matter. But yeah, they're going to fix it. They're moving forward. Jeff Rushton reported this one for statecollege.com. Shout out. They're moving forward with the renovations and the additions. So I mean, that's pretty exciting. Everybody loves Chick-fil-A, or like most people like Chick-fil-A, I think. So a dual drive-through will wrap all the way around the building before narrowing to one lane at the exit.
They need to do that at, like Wendy's too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Wendy's,
The
but
amount
yeah.
of times though that like I've been stopped
Wendy's
on
is
like
great.
that road
You don't like
because
Wendy's?
the line goes back out on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you're not trying to go to Chick-fil-A, it gets backed up.
Yeah.
So I guess there was question about whether or not they were moving forward with it, but I guess now they are. Grace actually manifested this.
Oh wow.
Yay,
In the
Grace.
fall, it was like we were talking about Chick-fil-A, and she was like, oh, they need to fix the parking lot. It gets bad. And then like a week, like 2 days later, like the news came out. So shout out.
I'm the highest Chick-fil-A like
Customer?
member status that you can reach.
What
Red status. Yeah.
does that get you?
Like every dollar is 12 points. So like I get more free meals than anyone else.
Wow. Mom's red status? I guess our
didn't
mom
know
is
they
red
even
status.
did that.
Shout out mom. Maybe she could come on, not right now, we're in a bit of a time jam, but she could come on and be another mom to join and discuss red status with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Chick-fil-A.
Okay, great. Penn State announces spin bike free ride changes. So there's going to be some time changes. So from now on, adjusted free ride hours will be available Saturdays from 11 p.m. to Sundays at 11 a.m. and then Sunday from 7 p.m. to Monday at 7 a.m. And then Tuesday through Saturday, it's 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. like each night. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I love spin bikes. Yeah. I don't understand how like they're not a bigger like liability, but
I want the electric scooters here.
oh,
They
like
have
the
it, like, pit
what are they
and
called? Like the
stuff.
bird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had those like all over Detroit. Like,
Yeah, they
even
did
had
have.
bikes
Yeah,
there,
a guy
yeah.
bumped into me on one. Actually, it made me
Really?
mad. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But yeah, shout out Spin Bike, shout out Chick-fil-A, shout out Yarn.
Yeah.
Let's have a day.
Hope they make the mural. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
To where it can withstand the elements.
I feel like they've got it figured out. But okay, I think that's all we got. Thanks for headlines.
Thanks, Will.
Joining us now, we have co-CEO of Taylor Gang Entertainment, Will Zomback. Will, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. So getting
for
right into it.
having me.
Oh, of course. Thanks for coming on.
Always.
Getting right into it. Growing up, how'd you get into music?
How did I get into music? I was in a band in high school. And I thought it was so cool that we could make money on music, and I managed the band. So I did that for a while. And then when everyone decided they wanted to go to college and not be in a band, I was promoting shows at Penn State. And yeah, that's how I started it, I guess.
Nice.
So you mentioned Penn State. What were some of your favorite memories, and then just what was your time here like in general?
I like Penn State. I was an integrative arts major, so I loved the freedom that program offers. I was in a fraternity called DU, and that was a good time with a lot of my friends. And just being able to, throw parties with musical artists, I thought was really cool and fun. So those are my favorite memories of Penn State.
While you were at Penn State, you started Nittany Booking. Can you explain what that is and how you got that started?
It was just a booking agency, because when I was a senior in high school, what is now called, I think, Stage West, was a place called the Crowbar, and that had closed, and they had no plans of reopening. So I saw an opportunity, because the only other place to see shows was the Bryce Jordan Center. So I was like, if I can do smaller shows and make money, this will be really cool.
Cool. Do you have a favorite state college band? If it's current or an older one.
State college band. I'm going to shout out my friend's band called Cloverleaf. They are not in Penn State anymore, but
Nice.
my Cloverleaf friends will very much appreciate it.
A vintage State College band.
My Hero Zeros.
Oh, well, I was calling Cloverleaf vintage because it's not here anymore.
Oh yeah,
but,
they were vintage.
But that's a good answer.
My
too.
Hero Zero and Velveeta, if they're still around.
Nice.
So while you were at your frat, you brought Wiz Khalifa. What was like that experience like? Was he well known at the time or not really? Were people excited before the event or, just like what was that like bringing him here?
Yeah, when the first time we brought him to the frat, he had just gotten signed to Warner Brothers Records, and we had a single called "Say Yeah," which is an Alice DJ sample, and that song was on the radio. So, and this was in 2007, before social media was a thing, so it was cool as fuck.
Yeah. So, so in 2014, with Moving On. A$AP Rocky was supposed to come but canceled, and so then Wiz Khalifa ended up coming. So were you like directly involved with that? Were you kind of the reason that happened, or?
Yeah, yep. I don't know if he works there anymore, but Bob used to run the BJC with Bernie, and they had reached out and they were just like, "Hey, we're in a bind. Can you help us out?" And we were like, "Yeah, sure. We'll be there. See you tomorrow."
Yeah. That's really cool.
Cool.
And it was really cool. That was a really good show. That was in the IM fields up by East. I don't know where Moving On is now, but when I was at Penn State, Moving On was at the Hub. So it was cool to see it in a different place.
Yeah, that's where that's where it is now, at the IM fields.
Nice. That's awesome.
So you co-founded Taylor Gang with Wiz. How did you two come up with the idea, and how did you get that started?
Really, Wiz came up with the idea and concept. He went to Taylor Alderdice High School, and we all wore Chuck Taylors at the time. And also, Taylor Gang is about tailoring your life to yourself and being an individual. So he had kind of coined it, and I was like, "Hey, we should do the business on this and like trademark it and be adults about it." He was like, "You're absolutely right."
Can you talk a little bit about your branding and management company, William Gerard Group, and how that's kind of different than Taylor Gang?
Yeah. William Gerard Group, I do a lot of my side projects. So while I love hip hop and we run all our hip hop stuff through Taylor Gang, I also have some side projects that I run through William Gerard Group. I have a publishing company that we run through there. And then I also manage a reality TV show girl. She was on an MTV show for a while, and now we have an HGTV show, and it's just a different hustle. And it's fun and interesting, and it's a place for my side projects that are different than my normal day-to-day.
Cool.
So in 2018, you were named one of Forbes 30 Under 30. So do you remember, like, how you felt hearing that and kind of, hearing the news?
Yeah, I was super excited. It was just like a good accomplishment. When the announcement came out, like I had already known, but when I first got the call, I was super excited and just like, hey, this is something my best friend Wiz was on, and for me to be able to get on it too was a huge accomplishment, and it really felt special.
So when your clients go on tour, do you ever get them to try to play the Bryce Jordan Center? And then just how much of a connection does Penn State play into that process?
Definitely. Wiz and I have a new artist. His name's Fed the God, and he has a show at Champs, not Bryce Jordan yet, but we're working our way up. And I always try to integrate Bryce Jordan back into it just because it's so special to me. And, especially back in the day when it was fresh, we started one of our tours at the Bryce Jordan Center and rehearsed there for 2 days and went out to all the bars like the Den, Champs, Cell Block is what it was called at the time. And it was a really great time, and it was an awesome place to start a tour.
So I know we've been talking about him, but kind of like bring it back to the beginning. How did you meet Wiz, and like what's your relationship like, or what was your relationship like with him?
So we met. Pittsburgh's a really small town, and I was in a band, and he was doing music, and a mutual friend, my friend Larry, had really put me on game to Wiz, and we had a frat brother who had passed, and I had met Wiz the summer after senior year, like just through mutual friends. And when one of our fraternity brothers passed, he had a huge passion for Wiz. So we're like, okay, we're going to throw a charity concert. So I reached out to Wiz and, his people. And I was like, do you guys want to come up and do a show? They came up and they were like, yo, this place is like a fucking free for all. Like, it's so fun up here. They're supposed to come up for a night and we didn't have the money for a hotel for them. I was like, you can stay at my apartment in Beaver Hill. And then they ended up staying for like a week and we all became really close friends and started, building it out after that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you mentioned the connection with Taylor Alderdice High School. Did you ever talk to Mac Miller about collaborating since you're both from Pittsburgh?
Yes, Mac was one of my best friends. He went to my grade school. He lived right down the street from my parents' house growing up. Him and Wiz had some songs together. There's a bunch of songs. I think one just leaked that they did together. But, he came on tour with us for 2 years in the beginning of his career. He was our opener for everything. And, I love Mac more than, anyone. And I miss him dearly every day.
We just had, a few weeks ago, Mac's brother, Miller McCormick, on the show. Friend of the show, Miller McCormick.
That's awesome. Miller is he is so talented, so creative. And he's a Penn State boy, so
yeah.
It's great to have, a person like that, being a peer and involved in the Penn State community.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Yeah. Did you have any cool music related internships in college? What is Penn State's connection like in that industry?
When I was in college or current, do I offer internships now?
I guess both, honestly.
I don't currently have an internship program just because it's a lot of paperwork and insurance. But, I'm always open. I'm always talking to people. I get resumes from Penn State all the time. And when I was in school, my, what is it called? It's not, who's the person that schedules all your classes?
Your advisor.
My advisor was super cool. His son worked at Pitchfork at the time. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And I totally explained it to him. He went and asked his son and his son was like, Wiz is going to be popping. He was like, pick whatever business classes you want, music classes, tech classes, put it all together. We'll call it a major. I was like, sounds awesome. Great.
This is just kind of a fun question. Right now, who is the most famous person on your phone? If you had to say.
Famous person on my phone. Depends on who you're asking. It's a subjective question. Michael Strahan or Drake.
Wow. All right, Drake's pretty good.
You want to call him?
Well, one of our producers, one of Wiz and I producer, this guy, his name's TM88. He's from Atlanta. He just made Drake's new single, Way Too Sexy, in September. So we're really, really proud of him, too.
That's sick.
Yeah,
that's what my hoodie is.
Oh,
nice.
I like that.
Have you ever been starstruck, meeting anybody? Or
yes.
is it just oh, who?
Yep. The Rock.
Oh,
that's fair.
Yeah.
I met a lot of rappers and never get starstruck around them. When I met The Rock, I was like, yo, that's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Is that the only one? Or are there others? Or just The Rock?
Rock. Do you guys know who Danny McBride is?
Yes. Yeah.
He's Kenny Powers.
Oh, yes.
When I met him, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's sick.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He was him and Wiz did a photo shoot together. I thought he was going to be super nerdy. He came in and was like, let's smoke some weed. I was like, wow, you're super cool.
It's awesome.
What's your favorite event that you've been to? Award show or?
There's a festival in Croatia called Fresh Island Festival. And it's a beautiful setting. It's right on the ocean and it's super, super cool.
Okay. And one other question. I saw something about it. So you have Khalifa Kush. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's our cannabis company. Yep.
Okay. So is it just what do you what are the products with that? I don't know. I didn't know how else to say that. What am I going to be like?
Nah. So we have a deal. We just closed our deal with True Leave in Pennsylvania and there will be weed in State College by August. Khalifa Kush, which is the best weed in the world. You guys will love it.
Shout out.
Shout out Khalifa Kush, friend of the show.
Yes.
Do you have any stories that you can share about celebrities?
Rick Ross gets super high. He fell asleep once. That was funny as hell.
That makes sense.
Do you have any Do you have any good college stories? Some good Delta Epsilons?
Yeah, when I brought Wiz to the den.
Oh, Wiz at the Den. That must have been good.
Yeah, we played. It was rehearsal before the tour started. It was the night before. We were playing at the BJC the next night. Everyone's like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "We should just go to the den and sit in that little section, like the little seating area at the end." And we just sat there all night, and that was super fun. Bringing Wiz, when I brought Wiz to Penn State for the first time, I was 18, I think he was 19, and we just frat hopped all night, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get into bars, so that was a good time. And then when we threw a party after he was famous during Arts Fest, we got kicked out of our frat for that, but it was the craziest party I've ever been to, like ever. If you guys ever been to DU, it was at DU, and the whole party room was filled, and we got in a lot of trouble, but it was worth it.
So what's next for you and I guess just Taylor Gang in general?
Just trying to keep the wheels turning. We have a summer tour that we're going to announce really soon with a good co-headliner. I'm excited about that. And our new artist, Fed to God, is coming to Penn State April 9th at Champs. And TM has a bunch of new songs coming out with Lil Durk that I'm excited about, and Polo G. And Chevy Woods just dropped an album called Big Woods Season. My boy Ricky P just dropped his project. And Wiz is dropping his album called Multiverse in a month or so.
Sounds like biz is booming.
We're trying to keep the wheels turning.
So our final question before we wrap is, do you have any advice for college students?
Chase your dreams and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because everyone was like, being in the music industry is impossible from Penn State, blah, 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 blah. Made it happen. You can do it, and do not. I wanted to leave Penn State so bad when I was a senior just to see the world, but there's so many connections to be made at Penn State. Take down everyone's number, and I would always say your network is your net worth. That's how you move up in the world, is your network. It doesn't matter about money or anything. You got to have a good network.
Very nice. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for coming on the show. We fucking love Onward State. It's way better than anything Penn State affiliated. It's your guys' own thing, and I love it.
Woo! Perfect. That works.
Will, fuck yeah, man.
Thank you.
Let's go. Fuck
that
the
was
Collegian.
Will Zomback. Thank you.
All right, that was our conversation with Will Zomback. Now we're going to head into sports with Mara and Keeley.
What's up, Connor?
Hey, guys. How are you doing? I'm sorry I didn't introduce you. All right, seems like you're doing good. So first, we're going to head into softball. Mara, you want to start us off with that?
Yeah, so they had their first Big Ten series against Maryland last weekend, where they went 1-2. They won the first game 2-1, and then they lost the second game 8-3, and lost the third game 6-4. But they bounced back Tuesday against Bucknell with a 5-1 win. Lilia Crothamel had her first career Grand Slam, and then softball will finish off their 13-game homestead this weekend with another Big Ten series against Purdue.
Nice. So they're seems like they're playing well. On the other side of things with baseball, they picked up a win over St. Bonaventure in 10 innings. They won 3-2. So they got kind of back on the winning train there. But before that, on March 26th, they played Rutgers, and they lost 20-6. Our own Jordan Mansberger was there covering the game. It was tough, according to him, according to sources. Heading over to men's lax. Keeley, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Men's lacrosse lost their Big Ten opener to number 1 Maryland on March 27th. They lost 18-7. Will Peden and Nils Berry each scored 2 goals, and I'd say the game was pretty good considering Maryland's high rank. Men's lax has 4 more games until the Big Ten tournament. Tomorrow, April 1st, they are traveling to play number 11 Ohio State, so that should be exciting to watch. Another ranked team. Good game.
Yeah. I was at the Maryland game, actually. I went over to Panzer for that. I mean, they were down 6-3, so they kind of put up a good fight. It was fun, but obviously it just doesn't seem like their year. The Big Ten is pretty stacked, so if they can pull off a ranked win against Ohio State, that would be pretty cool. Moving on to the women's side for women's lax. Mara, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so they lost on March 26 to Ohio State, 12-11. They trailed for the whole game until the third quarter, where they had a comeback, and they scored 5 goals. There was 2 goals each from Brooke Haas, Kristen O'Neill, and Gretchen Gilmore. And their next game is also tomorrow, April 1st, against Northwestern at home.
Nice. Yeah, that should be exciting. And then in other news, we have some basketball news. Jamari Wheeler and Isaiah Brockington, both former Nittany Lions, announced their intentions to go to the NBA Combine for the NBA Draft. So shout out to them. They had a pretty good run in the tournament this year. Hopefully they do well.
Former roommate of friend of the show, John Hara.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see how Jamari does. I don't quite know how his game translates to the NBA, but that'll be interesting. And then Cam Sullivan-Brown for football entered the transfer portal this week. He was a wide receiver for 5 years here, so be interesting to see where he goes. Last but not least, we have Sandy Barber's departure. We talked about that a little bit last time. Neely Bendapudi is going to be leading a search for Penn State's next athletic director. And according to, I think it was Pete Thamel a couple weeks ago, he announced that Sean Frazier was the lead candidate to take the position. But I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Who's our lead candidate, though?
Our lead candidate is Lynn Holler, friend of the show. That's all we have for sports. Thank you to Keeley and Mara for helping out.
Yeah, thanks, Connor.
See ya.
That was another episode of Podward State. We talked to Taylor Gang CEO Will Zomback. It's a good conversation.
Yeah, cool guy.
Funny guy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna email him my portfolio and try to get on tour.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun. He said that this was after we stopped recording, but he told Sam that if his photos are shit, then he's gonna tell him. So tune in next week
Like, hope
when we
they're
find
not.
out.
Do you think that I can get like on tour just by sending like football pictures?
Like maybe.
Probably not. I have a bunch of pictures of B.O.B.
That's cool.
On to, I guess. All right. Well, appreciate the crew. Stutz, you wanna?
We're getting out of the
Yeah,
as we mentioned
explain our situation.
we already did in the beginning. We mentioned there was a girl in here, so we had to start late. But we're doing all the segments of the pod in an hour, which is kind of like crazy.
Before we get out of here, shout out the crew. Me and Grace out here. We got editor Hailey Stutzman. We got sound technician Jordan Mansberger.
Jordy.
We got wait, sorry, I almost called it Charlie. We have Connor Krause. Connor, show the picture of you and Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
We'll come back to it. We got Shannon Smith hosting. First host?
No.
Oh, you did
Katie
Katie
Feeney.
Feeney. Well, that's fake.
And wait.
And
Tori? Jordy?
No, she wasn't here for that.
Who was there?
Remember,
Charlie
she was
and-
rushing her frat. We got William Hutchinson Pegler III getting his first headlines. Hey!
Yeah.
We got Mara McKeon, not related to Jackie McKeon. We got Keeley Lamm, not related to Keeley Hochhalter. And we got Charlie Pegler, related to Jack Pegler.
We should have a dog pod.
Dog pod.
That'd be awesome.
And now we are looking at currently a picture of Taylor Swift and Connor, which for some reason isn't his profile picture.
That's like awesome. You should tell more people that.
I know.
I remember when you told us. It was at the last season finale of Pod when Connor showed us that photo.
I don't think really.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, checking out from at what is it 8?
What?
What time is it? 8:04:15 from the Willard Building.
8:04:15.
This has been another 8:04:24. This has been another episode of Podward State. My name is Sam Brungo.
Grace Cunningham.
Take it easy, guys. Appreciate you listening. Be safe.
Yippee.